Many kids grow up looking forward to Christmas, the decorations, presents, and of course, the holiday cheer, just as I did. But to me, poppy milk was yet another thing to look forward to. I wanted to use this project to investigate the history of this traditional Lithuanian beverage, learn more about the poppy plant, and see if it could hit the grocery shelves as the next alternative milk beverage sometime soon. I come from Lithuania, a small country in northeastern Europe. We trace our ancestry to the local Balts that have inhabited the region since 3rd millennial BC and consisted of several distinct tribes including Lithuanians, Latvians, Yotvingians, Prussians, Semgalians, and Silonians, of which only Lithuanian and Latvian tribes survived until today. The Baltic tribes practiced Baltic paganism, and due to the relative geographic separation and limited trading relations, their religious practices remained fairly isolated until the Middle Ages, making Balts the last practicing pagans of Europe. However, Lithuanians did not develop a written language until after their conversion to Christianity, having the first printed Lithuanian book being published in 1547. This lack of written language and alphabet limited the ability to understand the Baltic pagan heritage separately from the Christian one, since the two traditions assimilated through the centuries. The details of the ancient Baltic pagan life, while still hazy, are analyzed through the analysis of common folklore in the region, songs, and peasant traditions. So what's poppy milk again? Let me tell you. Lithuanian Christmas celebration centers around the Christmas Eve, or kūčios. There are many traditions for that evening, one of which is to drink poppy milk together with yeasted poppy biscuits we call kūčiukai. Poppy milk recipe is simple: ground poppies, water, and a sweetener, commonly honey or sugar. But when my grandmother Irena was growing up, the process of poppy milk preparation was quite a bit more laborious.
So, vienas klausimas. Kai jūs pirkdavote aguonis visada? Ar kada nors bandėt auginti?
Aguonis užsiaugindavo. Užsiaugini namuose.
Jo.
Taip, taip, arba dviejų rūšių, arba tas tokias labai, jeigu vieną kartą pasodinai, jų pridygsta be galo daug, jos kasmet pridygsta, arba tas didžiasis, tokios, žinai, kur jau narkotikus iš jų gamindavo.
Skindavo ant tokios baltos paklodės sutiesdavo, o paskui reikėdavo iškulti, tai prieš vėją tas, žinai, šiukšlės. Aš vat atsimenu, kaip tai darydavo.
Ai, tada, klausyk, jas nuskini su dideliais stiebais, suriši, pakabini, kad išdžiūtų. Išdžiūna, tada nuskini galvytės, sutrini, sudaužai, taip kaip žinai, kad...
Yet nowadays it's simpler. You can buy pre-made and already sweetened poppy milk mix in most stores around Christmas time. Alternatively, you can grind bought poppy milks in a blender with a food processor to cut the prep time to a minimum. In my research, I couldn't find any other country that drinks poppy milk the way that we do. However, I found a recipe for a dish called kūčia that consists of boiled wheat berries, peas, beans, honey, and possibly poppy seeds. That seems to be the origin of our Christmas Eve celebration name. Similar recipes can be found in the areas that Lithuania warred with or occupied during the Middle Ages. The closest poppy milk recipe relative I found comes from India and is called kaskas dudh. It consists of poppy seeds, almonds, spices, butter, and milk instead of our simpler recipe of just poppy seeds, sweetener, and water. Let's talk a little more about the poppy plant itself. Although all poppies make seeds to reproduce, most of the poppy seeds you can purchase in a store come from the opium poppy, as it has the largest poppy seed yields per plant. Poppy plant itself can trace its origins to Mesopotamia, with it being mentioned as early as 3.5 centuries BC. Although originating in Mesopotamia, poppy plant has migrated to Europe so long ago that it is currently considered a native species. Poppy plant was cultivated as both a provider of beauty in its flowers, nutrition for both human and animal food in its seeds, and medicine in terms of its opium resin since the ancient times. The poppy resin can be extracted from a young plant and contains predominantly morphine with trace amounts of codeine, both currently used as pain suppressors. Opium is probably the most well-known from the Opium Wars of the 19th century that arose when China tried to suppress Western-controlled opium trade in their country. Since then, poppy regulation has been varied regionally. In Lithuania, you can't grow any opium poppies, but other decorative kinds are permissible. In China, you can't grow more than 500 poppy plants, period. But, for example, Australia's island state of Tasmania produces about 50% of the world's licit opium poppy. But even growing allowed species of poppies in Lithuania can result in some action, as my mom tells.
Visas didžiulis daržas mūsų, tų agonų prisisėdavo savaime. Dėl to, kad jos turi tas skylutes. Ir jeigu laiku tu nenuskinsi galvelių, tai tada jau kitais metais tarp bulvių, burokų, morkų ir visų kitų skanumynų tu rasi pilną agonų. Jo, pilna tų agonų bus prisisėję. Ir tų agonų paskui dar gavom sėklos tų didžiųjų, kurios labai gražios, jos kaip gėlės. Ir tų dar kur nekur prisodinta visa lysvė tų agonų. Ir jau žinojom, kad kada agonos uždės, jau pratintos tos galvelės, kad jau gali prasieiti žmonės. Žodžiu, pat irgi, kad nuskainė ir maišelė visas tas galvytės, tik radom tik tai kotus. Visas galvelės šak nusiskynė ir viskas, ir matyt darė savo tą vaišalą.
Purchase of poppy seeds is also prohibited in several countries, including Singapore, Taiwan, China, and Saudi Arabia, due to their viability of producing new plants and the trace amounts of opiates they contain. Now to a very important question. Can you fail a drug test from consuming poppy pastries? In fact, yes, and for two reasons. Opiates are metabolized extremely quickly. So to detect past use, drug tests must sense extremely low levels of opiates. In addition to that, poppy seeds do contain trace amounts of them, so consuming poppy pastries or milk could easily lead to false positive test results. Alright, so now that I know that one can get detectable amounts of opiates from just eating a poppy seed bagel, poppy seed milk seems like a bit of an out there proposal. But just out of curiosity, taste-wise, could that be a possibility? I think so, but my sister-in-law Lottie disagrees.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? How come?
I don't know, it's like a really sweet, sickly, nutty milk. I don't hate it, it's just not.
Oh.
To double check, I decided to put the milk to a test with my two American roommates, Gabby and Isabella. We are taste testing almond, oat, and poppy milk side by side. And as per Lottie's comment, I made sure not to make it overly sweet this time around.
It tastes oaty. It's very sweet. It is very sweet. It also has like that, like, fattiness that other milks don't have. And it's creamy. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it tastes kind of like granola. Yeah, like granola milk. Granola aftertaste for sure. Yeah. I don't hate it. I like it. What's that? Way more watery. Mm-hmm. After having oat milk, I realized how absolutely terrible. Almost like bitter. It's the texture is nice. It's very smooth. You can taste like the minerals. Yeah, it's kind of marzipan candy, but it smells like candy, but it's not sweet at all. It's way less sweet. It's like salty. Alright, I'm excited for this. This doesn't have thickeners, obviously, so it's like thin as heck. It smells the most. It does smell very much. It smells kind of like fall. Oh, it has a much more distinct flavor than the other two. Yeah, the other two are just kind of like subdued, but this is like a flavor. I like the nuttiness. It is nutty and like earthy. I'm trying to think of like the words to describe it. It's like it tastes like the husk of a gram. Great. Like almond butter kind of, but like less almondy. Like natural almond butter. Mm.